Hi, good morning everyone. May I know po if I am audible? Good morning. Good morning po.
Good morning po.
Thank you
Morning
so
po.
much po. By the way, I am Ma'am Madel Villar and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. Okay, thank you po sa lahat ng tumugon. Magandang umaga po sa ating mga participants all over the Philippines. Nakikita ko po dito, mayroon po tayong taga Region 10, Region 5, at napakarami pa pong iba. By the way, kumusta po kayo? Kumusta po kayo?
Okay naman po, ma'am.
Okay naman
Oh,
po.
thank you so much. Good to know po na nasa mabuti po kayong kalagayan. Okay. Um, Ready na po ba kayo? I'm here po ako sa Bicol. Binabati ko po kayo ng magandang umaga po. Dito po sa salita namin, Diyos maray na ramrag and iniriga. Pero po, di ba po, sa Filipino po, ito po ay magandang umaga. Sana po ay handa na po kayong matuto sa ating webinar kasi po alam naman po natin na ang ating mga magiging mga speakers ay talaga namang mga magagaling na speaker na kung saan talaga naman po kayo ay matututo. Okay po, our topic for today's webinar is all about the resilient roots, integrating climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction in learning environments. Ito naman po talagang topic natin ngayon is very timely kasi we all know naman po na ang Philippines ay very prone sa different calamity, especially sa typhoon. Kasi 'di ba po sa atin, ako as a teacher po, base sa experience ko, konting ulan, ano na kaagad nagsususpend na po kaagad ng klase. Dito po malalaman po natin kung ano nga ba yung mga different way para maka-adapt tayo sa nangyayaring climate change na hindi po na aapektuhan yung learning ng ating mga students. Without further ado po, another reminder po pala sa ating mga participants is mag-sign po kayo ng inyong attendance na sinend po sa inyong mga emails sa inyong onboarding manual po. Yung first, everyday po, magkakaroon po kayo ng attendance. Isang beses lamang po iyon na attendance, the whole duration na po iyon ng ating training today. And aside from that, magkakaroon din po kayo ng evaluation sa ating ating mga magiging speakers. And of course, mayroon din po regarding po sa ating training. Mayroon evaluation po kung ano yung mga dapat o mga i-adjust pa po namin na makakatulong pa po sa inyo. And of course, ang house rules po natin for our training is the first one is communicate respectfully with everyone. Keep your contribution focused on the topic. Use the chat responsibly and thoughtfully. Remember to mute your microphone when not speaking. Stay engaged and participate actively. Do not record or share any content without permission. And then always respect everyone's privacy. Report any technical issues promptly. Your feedback is appreciated and help us to improve and have fun and enjoy learning together. Okay, kung may mga concern po kayo, huwag po kayong mahihiya na mag-chat po dito sa ating chat boxes. Okay, good morning po. Kumusta po kayo? Hello po. Um, Good morning po. Kumusta po kayo? Anong nafe-feel nyo ngayong araw? Kung nahihiyang magsalita, pwede naman pong mag-chat po sa ating sa ating chat box. Chat nyo kung taga saan po kayo. Dito si from Region 11. Yes na yes daw. Ready, ready na. Okay lang. Good to know po na nasa ayos kayong makalagayan. How about the others po? Okay, mayroon po tayong from NCR, si De La Cruz, si Sir De La Cruz, and then from Quezon City, si Ma'am Ninita Pagay. And good morning din po kay Ma'am Sarah. Mayroon tayo from Region 4A. Marami-rami, malayo dito sa Bicol region. Kaya po talaga naman na mas maganda po na mayroon na tayo na uso po yung online platform. Kasi all over, kahit nasaan man tayong lugar, tayo ay nagkikita virtually at tayo ay maaring matuto. Unlike before po, nung wala pa pong mga modern technology, usually po talaga face-to-face po talaga. Pero ngayon, maaari na tayong matuto virtually. Okay, good morning everyone po. Wow, alert, alive, enthusiastic po. Si Ma'am Ana Marby Romel Alera. Okay, maayong buntag sa Cebu City. Okay, good morning po. Maayong buntag. Sa amin po, Diyos maray na ramrag. Kung sa Bicol naman po, marhay na aga. Talaga naman. Hindi lang talaga regarding sa natututo na rin tayo ng iba't ibang mga dialect dito sa Philippines. Okay, sa tingin ko po ay handang-handa na ang ating mga participants. Okay, dadako na tayo. Without further ado, I will introduce to you our first speaker this morning. Okay, our first speaker this morning is a junior high school teacher at Mambolo Nuevo National High School, Libmanan, Camarines Sur. He was recognized as the outstanding secondary teacher of the Libmanan district in acknowledgement of his commitment to pedagogical excellence. He holds a Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Physical Science, and Master of Science in Disaster Risk Management from the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, a program aligned with national priorities and disaster resilience and sustainable development. He has completed 33 units toward a Master of Arts in Science and Education and has earned 12 units in a PhD development education, reflecting his sustained art engagement in advanced academic training. He is a published author of Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction for Senior High School Module 2020 and has contributed extensively to curriculum development as a lead writer of learning activity sheets and as a division evaluator of instructional materials in the division of Camarines Sur. A Google Bicol certified professional, he has actively contributed to the digital transformation of science education to the development of ebooks and audio-based learning resources. He also served as psychological first aider and supporting community well-being through socio-emotional intervention and disaster-informed practices. Okay, let's give a warm resounding applause, virtual resounding applause to our speaker this morning, Sir Alberto Zay Laborte Jr., MSDRM, who he will discuss about synergizing CCA and DRR to decode local climate risk. Good morning po, Sir Albert.
Good morning. Am I loud and clear? Good morning po sa lahat.
Good morning po. Yes po, sir. Clear
Loud
na
and
po.
clear po ba tayo? Wait lang. Wait lang po. Open ko lang yung aking camera para makita niyo naman ako. Yan. Yan, so napakarami para nating participants ngayon. From the different places across the country. So good morning po sa lahat. Sabi kay ni Ma'am Madel, Diyos maray na aldaw po sa Indogabos from Bicol. So I am connected po at the Division of Camarines Sur, Department of Education, specifically at Region 5. So thank you so much po. By the way, thank you so much to the head of the Apotem Learning Center for inviting me to be part of the Resilient Roots Integrating Climate Change, Adaptation and Disaster Risk Reduction in Learning Environment as one of your research speaker for this webinar. So I am hoping po na sana marami tayong matutunan, and lalong-lalo na sa panahon natin ngayon na yung pag-uusapan natin is talagang kumbaga is one of the need na kailangan nating malaman at lalo-lalo na malaman natin yung mga konsepto kung paano ba natin mako-combat yung tinatawag nating climate change. Ma'am Adel, permission po to share my screen. Good morning everyone once again. Kung may mga tanong po kayo, do not hesitate to ask. Pwede po kayong mag-chat dito sa ating chat box, or pwede naman pong tawag dito, mag-raise kayo ng hand para maano tayo ng ating moderator. Okay po? Good morning po from Region 11. Ang dami nating dito from across the country. Okay, let me share to you my presentation. Nakikita na po ba yung presentation ko?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. So my assigned topic for this morning, it talks about the synergizing CCA and DRR to decode local climate risk. Ano po? So when we are talking about synergizing and disaster risk reduction, or DRR, it represents a strategic shift from treating environmental challenges as isolated events to viewing them as interconnected systemic risk. Ano po? So these two concepts evolved from different historical and professional frameworks that integrate and now considered as essential for decoding on how to combat global climate shifts and translate this into specific localized threats. So napakarami nating pag-uusapan ditong mga konsepto, and specifically, ano nga ba yung mga terms or terminologies na kailangan nating i-consider, lalong-lalo na po when we are talking about CCA and DRR. I know that some of you already have the idea kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng climate change adaptation and also the DRR. Since that most of you naman, I think, is may science major. So ito, itinuturo natin ito palagi sa ating mga estudyante, and some of the other fields naman is palagi natin itong naririnig sa mga symposium, seminars, at kung ano-ano pang mga platform. So now, let's have first the session objective. So ano ba yung kailangan nating matutunan at the end of this session? So number one, you need to differentiate between climate change adaptation, or the CCA, and disaster risk reduction, DRR, while identifying their functional synergies within an educational context. So palagi po natin siyang i-relate dito sa educational context na tinutukoy natin. So since that most of the participants are teachers, kailangan nating malaman kung ano nga ba yung pinagkaiba ng climate change at nung DRR. Is the two terms are interconnected or magkahiwalay ba sila? And second, analyze how climate change acts as a risk multipliers for local hazards. Okay po? So yan yung dalawang objectives na kailangan nating malaman. Now, let's start. Unahin muna natin yung tinatawag na climate change. So what is climate change? According to this, climate change is the term we use to describe a long-term change in the climate occurring due to natural variability or because of human activity. So when we talk about climate change, kailangan alam natin yung distinction between weather and climate. Kasi napakaraming tao yung nalilito kung ano yung pinagkaiba ng weather sa climate. Ano po? So, when we are talking about weather, these are the conditions you experience. Rain, humidity, temperature. So weather can change on a timeline of minutes, hours, days, or seasons. So ibig sabihin, pag sinabi natin weather, ito yung pangmadali ang panahon na na-experience natin. Okay po? And when we are talking about naman climate, this is the average weather over the longer term. So, pangmatagalan. Ano po? Yun yung pinagkaiba ng tinatawag nating weather and climate. So, when we talk about climate change, we are talking about the changes in the average weather over a timeline of decades or more. So, ano nga ba yung pagbabago ng panahon during overtime, or ano nga ba yung average weather patterns or timeline for decades or more. So yun yung tinatawag nating climate change. So at least alam natin kung ano yung pinagkaiba ng weather and climate. Ano po? Are you following? Nakakasunod ba tayo? So why is climate change happen? So bakit nga ba nangyayari yung climate change? So there is a broad scientific consensus that the climate change we are experiencing now is the result of human activities, not natural climate variability. Naniniwala po ba kayo dito, my dear participants, na yung climate change, it is the result of human activities? This is not a natural climate variability. So kung papansin natin ngayong panahon, talagang totoo. That is because of human activities kung bakit na-experience natin yung tinatawag na climate change. So the changes are caused by an increase in greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmospheres. So ano nga ba yung tinatawag nating mga greenhouse gases na to? So these greenhouse gases includes carbon dioxide and methane. So they occur naturally in the atmosphere and they are important to maintaining the Earth's temperature. So way back nung mga panahon pa na hindi pa masyadong uso yung or nabuboom yung technology, industrialization, talagang there is already the presence of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So typically, yung carbon dioxide and methane, yun talaga yung nagko-control para ma-maintain yung Earth's temperature at para maging survivable yung planet Earth sa mga living organism. But because of human activities, there are a lot of things that are changing due to industrialization. Napakaraming greenhouse gases yung nako-contribute na in the atmosphere. So, these greenhouse gases now are atmospheric gases that trap the heats. So, they allow sunlight to pass through the atmosphere freely, but they absorb the infrared radiation heat that the Earth reflects back towards the space. So, this process is known as what we call greenhouse effect. And without, Earth's average temperature would be around negative 18 degrees Celsius, instead the comfortable 15 degrees Celsius that we are enjoying today. So ano mga yung mga primary greenhouse gases na meron yung atmosphere natin? Aside from carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrogen and oxygen, there are a lot of primary greenhouse gases na nandun sa atmosphere natin. So may mga contributor like for example the nitrous oxide. These nitrous oxides are emitted because of the agricultural and industrial activities, such as the combustions of the fossil fuels and the solid waste. Meron na rin tayo ngayong mga fluorinated gases, like yung mga synthetic gases na ginagamit natin in the different appliances, like for example, in the air condition and refrigerators, the hydrofluorocarbons, the perfluorocarbons, that concentrated and contributing now to the global warming effect. So yun yung mga different greenhouse gases natin. So however, in recent decades, with increasing industrialization, human activities, the releasing large amounts of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which is causing an overall increase in the Earth's average temperature. So dito na pumapasok yung pagbago ng ating klima. It is because of the increase in the Earth's average temperature. So kung papansin natin dito, here is the visual representation of the enhanced greenhouse effect which is causing the climate change. So dalawa yung greenhouse effect natin dito. We have the natural greenhouse effect and the enhanced greenhouse effect. So kung papansinin natin yung natural greenhouse effect, yung other solar radiation or the visible and the UV ultraviolet radiations is na pumapasok dito galing from the sun is hindi totally nakakapass through to the atmosphere kasi nare-reflect back siya pabalik to the outer space. Pero pagdating dito sa enhanced greenhouse effect, mapapansin natin na there are a lot of gases na nako-contribute sa atmosphere which makes the atmosphere concentrated on the different form of gases. That makes the atmosphere increasing the average temperature compared with the natural greenhouse effect. So as you can see, kukonti lang yung nakakabalik sa outer space na galing dito mismo sa solar radiation natin. So less heat escapes into space compared with the natural greenhouse na marami. Kumbaga, infrared radiations, the UV, other parts are nare-reflect back papunta, pabalik sa outer space. Pero because of the fossil fuels burning, transportations, and industrializations, napakarami. Ano po, yung natatrap na mga greenhouse gases into the atmosphere which makes the atmosphere increasing the temperature. So what are the common sources of the emissions of this? Unang-una dyan, syempre yung electricity and heat production. Like we are burning coals, oil, or gas for energy. So isa yan sa pinaka number one causes of the enhanced greenhouse effect. Another thing is the agriculture and the land use, like the livestock, fertilizers, and clearing forest. The industry, we have now the chemical, the metallurgical, and mineral transformation processes, and the transportation. So the burning of petroleum-based fuels, the gasoline and diesel for cars, trucks, ships, and planes, those are the common sources of emissions why there is what we call enhanced greenhouse effect. So, ito na yung nangyayari. Because of the enhanced greenhouse effect, mas nagiging mainit yung Earth. Ano po? So why is this such a bad thing? Bakit masama ito? While the overall changes in the Earth's average temperature may seem small, there are two major concerns. The first is the rate of change. Ano yung rate of change na tinutukoy natin dito? This is now the global average temperature rising faster than at any other time in the history of human civilization. Sobrang bilis. Ano po? Kaya kung babalikan natin yung records, kung ano yung taon na may pinakamainit tayo, 'di ba? Yung I think that is 2024, yung sobrang taas ng heat index natin. Ngayon nga, ano na, pumapalo na naman ng 35 to 36 degrees Celsius yung heat index natin. So this means it is very difficult to predict how the global climate system will react. So, kung titingnan natin yung perspective at nagiging resulta nito sa atin mismo into the community, napakalaki ng epekto nito, lalong-lalo na pagdating sa educational sector. Di ba sabi nga kanina ni Ma'am Madel, yung rate of change with the climate change natin is, since na unpredictable na siya, hindi na siya kayang, tawag dito, hindi na siya kayang basahin ng ating mga technologies sa pabago-bagong sistema, hindi na rin siya kayang i-predict. Ang nangyayari is, naapektuhan tayo nito. Like for example, kapag tumaas masyado yung heat index, magkakaroon na naman tayo ng shifting to modular or online platform kasi hindi na naman kaya ng mga estudyanteng pumasok sa sobrang init sa loob ng room. So a lot of scientists are working very hard to come up with models for future climate scenarios. Hindi lang po in the educational sector, pati yung agriculture na apektuhan, ano pa, the economy, it is because of this global climate system. So, we are facing an unprecedented situation. Hindi natin alam kung saan tayo lulugar because of the rate of change of the temperature or the global average temperature. So, sa sobrang bilis ng pagbabago, nahihirapan rin tayong mag-adapt dun sa pagbabagong yon. So, the second major concern is, a small change in the average global temperature has major consequences. So kahit sobrang liit lang ng pagbabago doon sa global temperature, napakalaki ng consequences na pwedeng ma-experience natin. Unang-una na dyan is the rising sea levels. Okay? Changing temperature and rainfall patterns. Kaya Napansin natin ngayon summer na pero malamig pa rin yung simoy ng hangin. It is because of this. An increase in the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events. So, mapapansin natin na almost yung span of typhoons, week lang, minsan nga days lang, di ba? Kapapasok pa lang ng isang bagyo, may susunod na naman. Yung parang nagpaparade na yung mga typhoons dito sa atin. This is the result of the small change of the average global temperature. Yung rainfall patterns natin, unpredicted na. So the bottom line is, climate change is happening and it's happening now. So it's not a distant phenomenon that will happen in some unknown future. So today, in 2026, the global surface temperature have risen approximately into 1.1 degrees Celsius. So sobrang taas ng binago ng temperature natin dito. Ano po? 1.1 degrees Celsius since the late 19th century. So imagine that. From 19th century, yung itinaas 1.1 degrees Celsius lang, pero grabe yung epekto sa atin. So this is driven by human-caused greenhouse gas emissions with the fastest warming occurring in the past 40 years. So this intensification is accelerating ice melt, sea level rise, extreme weather with temperatures projected to rise another 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2050. So, based ito sa mga pag-aaral ng ating mga scientista. So, by year 2050, tataas pa ng almost 1.5 degrees Celsius yung temperatura natin sa pagbabago dito sa global temperature. So, sobrang hirap na nito. So, the climate change-induced extreme weather such as intense heat and typhoons, di ba? Binabantayan natin ngayon kasi pwedeng ma-experience natin yung El Nino phenomenon or the part of the ENSO cycle. It can cause massive, widespread class suspensions. So in the Philippines alone, thousands of schools frequently suspended in-persons classes dahil lang dito sa pagbago ng temperatura natin. So, with over 5,800 schools shifting to alternative modes in April 2024 due to high heat and 35,000 learners affected by the disruptions of school operations. Yun yung pinaka mahirap dito sa sitwasyon natin. So it's because of the climate change, simpleng pagbabago lang sa average global temperature, napakalaki yung consequences at napakarami yung naaapektuhan. Okay? So, according to UNICEF and DNR, study reveals deep impact of the Philippines climate vulnerability on children. So, tingnan po natin ito. Ano? So pinag-aaralan ngayon ng UNICEF and the Philippines and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, they are now coordinating an inclusive action to make child focus on social services resilient to climate impacts. Kasi hindi naman po talaga tawag dito. Yung mas naapektuhan dito is yung mga bata. So, the climate landscape analysis for children in the Philippines sheds light on the risk posed by climate shocks to the children's right to health, nutrition, education, water, sanitation, and protection, and a safe environment. So, in the climate risk index list in the Philippines, one of the most hazard-prone countries for children, they are exposed them to high risks that threaten their right as highlighted in the landscape analysis. So by 2050, nearly all children will experience at least 5 annual heat waves. Imagine that. 5 annual heat waves, raising the likelihood of heat stroke, dehydration, and preterm births. So more typhoons and shifting rainfall will also increase outbreaks of diseases such as dengue and malaria. And up to 98% of agricultural losses from climate shocks have cut food supplies, leading families to rely on unhealthy processed foods and increasing both hunger and malnutrition. So ito yung napakahirap dito sa part natin. Kasi kung titingnan po natin, yun yung nagiging resulta ng pabago-bagong temperatura natin. And this is what we call climate change. So, paano ba natin to lalabanan? Or paano ba natin pwedeng tulungan na malesen natin yung impact ng climate change? So, papasok tayo dito. Okay po? So, what does this mean for our work in disaster risk reduction? So, the impacts of climate change mean that climate-related hazard events such as droughts, floods, cyclones are likely to become more frequent and more severe. So, lahat naman tayo na-experience ito. So, this has direct and significant implications for many dimensions of sustainable development, including food, security, access to water, and health. So, as a result of these challenges, there is a potential for increased poverty, conflict, and migration. So, all of this leads to situations where people, particularly poor and marginalized groups, will be increasingly vulnerable to shocks and stresses. Diba? Lalong-lalo na dito sa setup natin sa Pilipinas. So, mapapansin natin na mas naaapektuhan yung mga Pilipino, it is because we are in the line of poverty. Kumbaga sinasabi natin na nasa laylayan. Commonly, na most of the population of the Filipinos are nasa laylayan or in the average life. So kapag nagkakaroon ng disaster, sila yung pinakaunang naaapektuhan nito. So tumataas yung poverty level and nagkakaroon tayo ng conflict and migration. So anong ginagawa? Mas nagiging vulnerable yung mga Pilipino pagdadating ng disasters. Kaya kung i-compare natin with the setup, with the Philippines with the other countries like for example Japan, yung Japan, kahit tamaan sila ng napakalaking disaster, within 3 days, nakaka-recover sila. It is because they have a particularly good living and bilis yung serbisyo ng government nila pagdating to address the disaster. So dito sa atin, medyo mabagal yung sistema. So ano yung kailangan natin gawin? So this means that climate change increasing both the probability of hazard events and the people's vulnerability. So this is now the climate change makes disaster risk reduction even more important. So dito napapasok yung disaster risk. Ano po? Ano yung kinalaman ni climate change sa disaster risk? So ito na po. So disaster risk refers to the potential for losses due to disasters over a specific period of time. So these losses may include injury, illness, or loss of life, destruction of property or assets, interruptions in services, harm to or loss of livelihoods, damage to ecosystems, psychosocial impacts. So the more likely a hazard event is to happen, the higher the disaster risk. So similarly, the more negative consequences a hazard event has, the more risk it possesses. So we are now particularly articulating things na pwedeng maging resulta kapag pumasok yung climate change that may result to a disaster and kailangan nating i-relate with the disaster risk. Ang kailangan nating gawin is kailangan nating i-assess ilan ba yung possible na matamaan or maapektuhan, ilan ba yung possible na pwedeng masirang property or assets or mga services na pwedeng maapektuhan. Lahat dito, ina-assess na natin. Okay po? So this is what we call disaster risk. We are talking about potential losses due to disasters. Then, what kind of hazards are we concerned with? Ano ba yung mga hazards na meron tayo? So aside from the Philippines is situated facing the Pacific Ocean, that is the reason napakarami nating bagyo. Approximately 25 typhoons we are expecting in a year. We are situated in the Pacific Ring of Fire. That's the reason why we have a lot of active volcanoes and earthquake systems. So napakarami nating hazards sa paligid natin. So hazards may occur due to natural causes or there may be the result of human activities. So pwede siyang natural, pwede naman na man-made. So yung mga natural, short term. Ano po? Pero pag man-made, pang matagalan or human activities. Like for example, the war between the Iran and Israel, the Ukraine and the Ukraine and Russia. So until now, di ba? Patuloy pa rin sila. That is human activity hazards. So mas long-term yung human activities compare with the natural. Kasi yung natural, pag dumaan siya, yung bagyo, pagkatapos niya, okay na, tapos na siya. Pero yung mga human activities, mas matagal po yung process nito, mas matagal yung iringan nito, kaya mas tumatagal rin yung hazards doon sa mga taong nakatira. So while recognizing the importance of conflict and other human-induced hazards, we will just focus only on the natural hazards. So there are 5 types of natural hazards na meron tayo dito sa Pilipinas. Unang-una dyan, yung tinatawag nating geophysical hazards, such as earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. We have meteorological, such as tropical cyclones and other storms, and also hydrological, including different types of flooding, climatological, such as drought and extreme temperatures, biological, such as epidemics or pest infestations. So, with the exception of geophysical, all of these types of hazards are either directly or indirectly affected by climate change. Okay? Exception of geophysical. Lahat ng natitirang apat are directly or indirectly affected by climate change. So ano yung kailangan natin gawin since that we are situated in the country na lahat ng hazards na to are meron tayo. Active tayo pagdating sa meteorological, lalong-lalo naman sa hydrological. Ano po, yung dating hindi binabaha na ngayon. Yung climatological natin, such as the drought and extreme temperatures we are experiencing right now. Ano po, there are also epidemics or pest infestation. So, lahat ito, naaapektuhan because of climate change. So, ano yung kailangan natin gawin? Ipapasok natin si DRR. Okay? Ipapasok natin siya. So, in the disaster risk reduction, or the DRR, which is the core of this learning process, this is the approach now to reduce disaster risk caused by the hazard events. Alam natin yung disaster risk, ngayon babawasan natin yung epekto nito. These are now what we call practical actions that society, communities, or other stakeholders take to reduce the risk of disasters. Okay? Ito yung kailangan natin gawin. Ano ba yung aim ni DRR? DRR aims to reduce the exposure to hazard events, to reduce vulnerability, and to improve preparedness. Kailangan nating i-improve yung preparedness natin, kailangan nating bawasan yung exposure natin sa mga hazard events, and kailangan nating bawasan yung vulnerability ng mga bagay na na-expose doon on the hazards. So ano yung actions ni DRR? Reducing exposure to hazards. Later po, explain ko sa inyo yung tinatawag na exposure vulnerability. Reducing vulnerability of people and property. We are wanting to improve the land and environmental management, and we want to improve preparedness for hazard events. So these are the DRR actions. Okay po? We want to reduce everything. The exposure to hazards, the vulnerability of people and property, and syempre we want to improve the environmental management and improve the preparedness. Now, hindi lang yan dyan nagtatapos with the DRR. Ipapasok na naman natin siya with an approach in reducing the disaster risk. Papasok tayo dito sa tinatawag nating DRM. So where does disaster risk management fit in? So disaster risk management is a strategic approach to managing all types of disaster risk. Lahat na po, nandito na. Ano po? So DRM looks at disasters from the perspectives of organizations, the government, the NGOs or communities, and provides a framework on strategy for managing the risk of disasters. So, pwede na tayo ditong pumasok dun sa paggawa ng plano natin. A disaster risk management policy, plan or strategy that describes how a particular organization will deal with disasters before, during, and after a disaster occurs. Yung set up with the National DRRM plan, or in the care of context, yung tinatawag nating emergency preparedness plans are one of the approach to DRM. I don't know kung yung ibang mga teachers dito, are you assigned po ba as a school DRRM coordinator of your school? Kasi I think may mga teachers tayo ditong participants, di ba po? So, sino po sa inyo dito yung ano yan? Mga assigned school DRR coordinator ng school. Kasi very important ito yung DRM natin. Lalong-lalo na yung mga schools na situated along the or malapit dun sa mga hazard-prone areas natin, yung mga malapit sa dagat, malapit sa bulkan, ganyan. So, in the care context, ang kailangan natin gawin dito is gagawa tayo ng plan. Ano po? Gagawa tayo ng plan para alam natin kung ano yung gagawin natin before, during, and after. We also work with the local and national government and other stakeholders to support the development of the DRM plans. Pwede nyo po itong gawin as your innovation. Gawa kayo ng school DRM plan nyo, gawa kayo ng proposal, then gawan nyo ng innovation, yung mismong school DRM plan, yun yung magiging output ng innovation nyo. So, pwede natin siyang i-pattern with the care context. Kasi yung care context po, this is an international incorporates in the DRR. Ano po? So, this is a cross-cutting core concepts of humanitarian assistance. So, ang ginagawa dito with the DRRM care, their focus is on addressing underlying causes of vulnerability and enhancing community capacity and integrating climate change adaptation with the ecosystem management. So typically, kung i-relate natin siya dito, in the Philippine setup, kumbaga, this is now the context of the DRRM framework. Makikita natin or mapapansin natin na pwede natin siyang i-relate with the 4 thematic areas of the DRRM framework. Ano po? Sa amin po is na-assign sa mga administrative officer to po, lalo na sa Division of Island of Garden City of Samal. So, pwede naman po kasing ibigay yun sa mga non-teaching, sa non-teaching. Pero mas okay po sana kung talagang dapat yung school DRR coordinator is teacher kasi mas may direct contact kayo sa mga students and mas ma-explain nyo ng maayos yung konsepto ng DRM plan po ninyo. Later po, magbibigay ako sa inyo ng activity. Ang gagawin po ninyo is i-accomplish nyo yung DRM plan and pwede nyo na po siyang gawin as template para at least pag bumalik kayo doon sa school nyo, pwede nyo po simulan yung DRM plan nyo or school DRM plan nyo. Para at least malimit natin yung epekto ng mga hazards na nandun mismo po sa school ninyo. Ano po? So, pwede natin siyang i-relate with the DRRM framework. So, like for example, in the broader context, the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act of 2010, so there are 4 thematic areas of the PDRRMC. Ano po? So this is now what? The disaster prevention and mitigation, disaster preparedness, disaster response, and disaster rehabilitation and recovery. So ito yung kinagandahan kung bakit may setup tayo ng DRM. Hindi na lang po kasi hindi na lang po kasi yung mga related in the DILG yung gumagawa nito. Lahat po ng aspeto na ngayon in the country, ini-insert na po natin yung concept ng DRR. Bakit? Mini-mainstream po kasi natin siya. Pag sinabi natin mini-mainstream, kailangan dapat lahat ng tao may idea about DRR. Kasi, ngayong panahon na yon, hindi na po pwede na dapat yung mga rescuers lang or part of the DILG yung may alam nito. Kaya nga po, nagkaroon tayo ng insertion of the DRR into the school curricula. Kaya meron tayong subject na DRRR, di ba po? So para malaman ng mga bata kung ano yung pwede nilang gawin, ano yung pwede nilang malimit in case that they were experiencing this kind of disasters. Yun yung tinitingnan po natin dito. So, let's look now on the example to make this relationship clearer. So, a local government authority has a direct or has a disaster risk management plan. So this plan outlines how the authority will deal with the disasters, including how it will prepare for and respond to hazards. So dito po kasi sa plan, parang lahat ng gagawin nyo, step by step, naka-enumerate na. Ano po? So based dun sa hazard identifications ninyo, ano ba yung mga nakikita nyo pwedeng maka-apekto sa school ninyo, lalong-lalo na sa stakeholders, na sa students, sa communities, and etc., pwede nyo na pong i-enumerate dito. It also describes how the authority will work with others, including higher levels of government, NGOs, and community-based organizations. So, hindi lang po pwedeng dapat teachers lang or yung school head or yung principal lang po yung part ng planning nyo with the disaster risk management plan. Pwede nyo pong i-invite yung barangay council or any other NGOs na pwede makapag-provide ng inputs para mas maging stronger and builder yung ating DRM plan. Ano po? So, as part of the preparedness component of the plan, the authorities identify the disaster risk reduction actions that may be implemented by the authority. Pwede siyang by local NGOs or by the communities governed by the authority. Okay po. So, papakita ko sa inyo kung ano yung plan na yun. Okay? Ito yung template natin. Wait lang po ha. I-share ko sa inyo yung plan. Yes po, sa Science Integrated ang DRR. Even though nga po kahit sa lahat ng subjects, pwede po nating i-integrate yung DRR concepts. Ano? Kasi within in the cross-curriculum naman po tayo. So, pwede po natin laging integrate yung DRR in our lesson. Much better po. Nakikita na po ba natin? Yan.
Yes.
So, ito na yung template po na pwede natin gamitin. Okay? With the School Disaster Risk Management Plan. I know na yung iba po is, tawag dito, hindi naman po connected in the education sector. Others are from the other agencies. Pero pwede niyo rin po itong basehan as your template in making your disaster risk management plan. Kasi yung nilalaman naman po nito is suitable naman po in different areas. Yan. So, tingnan natin. Yan. So, ito. Yung contents natin, meron tayong school profile, school mapping. I don't know po sa mga participants natin na mga teachers kung kinakandak ninyo po ito sa school ninyo. Ano, sa amin kasi lagi namin itong ina-update every year. Even though yung school po na connected ako is malayo naman sa mga hazardous areas. Pero as the school disaster risk management coordinator of the school, palagi ko po itong pinapa-perform sa mga estudyante ko as part of their performance task. So, pinapakanda ko sila ng school profile, school mapping, and also the risk assessment, yung mga emergency preparedness checklist, emergency sound alerts, yan. Yun yung mga kailangan natin tingnan. Ano po, meron ba yung school natin ng isang early warning system lang nakapag pinatunog siya dinig ng buong tao sa loob ng school? Yan. Mga early warning system natin yan. May emergency procedure charts tayo. We have the drill preparedness checklist, emergency provisions checklist, the school safety assessment, responsibility planning, the DRM plan, school implementation timeline and checklist. Yan, may mga display posters tayo, emergency response information, emergency contacts, NUPELA, passing the stay healthy in schools, and the emergency procedure chart. So ito po, ang gagawin nyo na lang po dito, my dear participants, i-fill out nyo na lang po ito. Ano, isi-share ko ito sa inyo, bibigay ko ito sa inyo. Ano po, para magamit nyo sa school and magamit nyo rin with the other areas na applicable po dito. Ano, yan. So, yung school profile natin, lalagay lang natin sa example, name of school, ilagay po ninyo kung secondary, elementary, the location, district, yan. Then, we have emergency contacts. Lalagay po natin yung Provincial Disaster Council. Kung may mga access tayo with Red Cross or any NGOs, pwede po dito. Then, we also have School Disaster Risk Management Committee members. Siyempre, yung mga co-teachers natin or pwede naman with the other colleagues. Pwede po tayo mag-invite from the SPTA, yan, na maging part of the SDRM committee members or the local or the barangay councils or any other NGOs. Yan. School mapping. Dito po. Then, risk assessment. Ano ba yung main hazard na nai-encounter nyo sa school? Frequency is gaano kadalas? Likelihood of occurring, like for example, anong mga man siya pumapasok? Sino yung mga vulnerability persons? Vulnerability of resources. So, parang mag-fill out lang tayo ng form na to. Yan. Tapos, ang kinagandahan po dito sa sa school DRM plan natin dito is hahanapin na lang natin yung mga wala sa school natin. Okay po. So may mga checklist tayo dito. So meron ba tayong exit pathways are kept clear? Yan. Every school year po, gawin po ninyo ito. Then, samahan nyo na rin po ng action plan. Isama nyo po ito sa action plan ninyo. Kasi kahit hindi ka naman po related sa DRR or hindi ka naman science major, pwede ka namang gumawa nito eh. Kasi you can consider this as your innovation. Yan. If you face earthquakes and windstorms, or move heavy items below head level, ginagawa niyo po ba to? So on and so forth. So, iti-check na naman niyo. Then, emergency sound alerts. Hazard. Anong klaseng hazard? Anong klaseng sound alert yung do you have any evacuation point? So, yun po, So, napakadali lang i-accomplish. Then, meron rin tayo ditong emergency procedure chart. We also have drill preparedness checklist. Is your school has a go bag with essential items? Yeah. I don't know po sa other, from the other part of kung nasusupplyan po kayo ng go bag. Dito kasi sa amin sa Region 5, hindi po kami masyadong nabibigyan ng ganitong supply with the go bag. Pero, pwede naman po siyang i-purchase with using your school MOOE. Yan. Sa school go bag, yung mga items na meron tayo dito. Check nyo lang po kung may megaphone po ba kayo, ready siya, or kung missing siya, or initials. Update yan. Lagi nyo pong i-update para pwede nyo po siyang i-request sa school principal ninyo na ganito, ganyan sir, wala na po tayong megaphone, kailangan po natin to in case of emergency. So, para makapag-purchase yung school. And the school safety assessment. Yan. Responsibility planning. Ito po. I-fill out nyo na lang po siya. During the, like for example, sound appropriate emergency alert. Sino po ba dapat yun? And kailan? And saan? Yan. Accomplish lang natin yan. And ito po yung pinaka-importante dito. DRM plan school implementation timeline and checklist. Kung papansinin po natin, ano po? Yes po. Yes po, sir. Pwede nyo pong yan. Ay ma'am, pwede po ninyong i-modify po yung template. Yes po. Pwede po. Pwede po. Depende po dun sa yan. Depende po sa suitability nung pinagtatrabahuhan nyo. Pwede nyo po itong i-modify para mas appropriate po siya dun sa workplace ninyo. Pwede po, ma'am. Okay? So may mga display posters po ba tayo dyan? Like emergency response information, emergency contacts. Lagi po natin yan. You know po, there is one incident in our school na we have one student na ang nangyari po pala is, tawag dito, uminom po siya ng pesticide mismo sa loob ng premise ng school. Ang ginawa niya is pumunta siya doon sa may parang bodega ng school namin kung saan nilalagay yung mga gano'n na ginagamit sa agriculture course namin sa TLE. Then yung isang estudyante po namin is pumasok doon because of the emergency response information na laging naka-display sa school namin, yung mga estudyanteng nakakita doon sa bata. Kasi kung walang nakakita doon sa bata, matutukoy namin yung bata, baka makapatay na siya doon sa loob ng bodega. So, ang nangyari is, since we posted always emergency response information and we oriented our students na ganito yung gagawin nyo in case na may makita kayong mali, may madisgrasya na walang teacher na nagsusupervise, punta kayo doon, may mga naka-display kami ng emergency response information in each building po sa school namin, then kukontakin nyo lang yun. And because of that display posters, naagapan po namin yung estudyanteng gustong mag-commit ng suicide. Pero nakainom na po siya ng konting pesticide. Buti nga na rescue namin and doon. Yan yung kinagalagaan kapag meron tayong mga display posters in our workplace. Madali nating matutugunan kapag yung bata is alert naman and kapag yung mga kasama natin sa workplace natin is talagang pinapractice yung ganitong sistema. So napakaganda po ng implication ng emergency response information and also yung emergency contacts, lagi natin yung ipopost sa workplace natin, the hotlines of the PNP, the Red Cross, the MDRRMO, the BFP, palagi po yan. Dapat lagi natin dinidisplay yan. Sobrang importante po yan. Kasi hindi naman natin alam kung ano yung pwedeng mangyari, di ba po? So, kailangan dapat laging nakapost yung mga ganitong important information. Okay? Then, tingnan pa natin yung ibang part ng timeline natin. Yan. So, we also have the emergency response information. Yan. Kung ano yung mga dapat mong gawin. Emergency contacts. Yan. And protect yourself, your friends, and classmates from COVID-19. Kasi, ano to until now talagang isinasama pa rin siya. Kasi since na until, di ba po, hanggang ngayon, hindi pa naman po tayo talaga 100% COVID-free. So, palagi pa po siyang isinasama sa mga ganitong plan. Okay. So, ito po, this will be your activity na kailangan nyo i-accomplish. Ano po? So, later, i-send ko po ito sa inyo and magmo-modify po kayo dito. I-fill out nyo po ito based on your assessment on your school and pwede nyo naman po siyang i-modify kung saan po kayo workplace related. Ano po? Feel free to modify this one. But you need to, syempre po, you need to cite po kung saan galing. Dito po siya galing dito. Ano? Yung kung saan siya galing yung plan natin. Okay po ba? Helpful po ba yun? Helpful po ba? Do you have any questions po as of the moment? Before we proceed po with the next topic? Okay, thank you so much po with that reaction. Then, so let's go back now with our slide. Yan. So, nakita na po natin kung ano yung school DRM plan natin. So, alam na natin, may idea na tayo kung ano yung pwede nating ilagay. So, pero dun sa mga sunod na sessions po, mas maiintindihan nyo pa po siya. Kasi itong topic ko parang introduction lang po ito. Pero dun sa susunod yung topic mamayang hapon, tuturuan talaga kayo mag-conduct ng HRVCA. Okay? Mas, ano po yun, mas detailed. And pwede nyo na po siyang i-apply dun mismo sa school DRM plan or dun mismo sa DRM plan na gagawin nyo po with your workplace. Yes po, magbibigay po ako ng copy. Okay po. Thank you so much po, Sir Boyan. Thank you so much po. Okay, yan. So, magtutulungan lang tayo. Ano po, ganun lang yung gagawin natin. I-share natin kung anong meron tayo. Okay? So, now that we have now the idea, now let's discuss now the different DRRM concepts or the DRR concepts. Now that we've got a good grasp of DRR concepts, let's consider now adaptation to climate change. Hindi pa rin tayo aalis dito kasi i-relate natin to. So adaptation to climate change is a process of reducing vulnerability to the current and future impacts of climate change. Yun lang naman ang gusto natin gawin ma-reduce natin yung future impacts ng climate change kung pwede nga, gawin natin ngayon. Kasi the negative impacts of climate change exhibit themselves as hazards. However, in some cases, climate change impacts may also present opportunities. Talagang gano'n naman po, di ba? There is always a positive and negative results. So adaptation can also involve taking advantage of these opportunities. Unfortunately, in vulnerable communities, ito lang yung problema natin, developing countries. The impact of climate change are largely negative. Lalong-lalo na sa atin, sa Pilipinas. We are a developing country. Kaya napakahirap nating mag-adjust sa epekto ng climate change. Kumbaga, instead na mas maraming opportunities yung dumating because of this, mas malala o mas malawak yung negative part ng epekto ng climate change dito sa atin. So anong kailangan natin gawin as Filipinos and as part of a developing country? This means that adaptation is often about managing the impacts of hazards. Kailangan natin i-manage yung impacts ng hazards. So, paano ba natin i-manage yun? So, if both adaptations and DRR are about managing hazards, are they the same thing? Tingnan natin. There are a lot of synergies between DRR and adaptation, but they have different entry points. So, DRR addresses all types of hazards and focuses on reducing the risk of disaster caused by the hazard events. Yun yung ginagawa ni DRR. Okay po, nakafocus siya sa iba't ibang uri ng hazards and nakafocus siya kung paano natin i-reduce yung risk of disaster caused by the hazard events. Yun yung ginagawa ni DRR. Pero pagdating po sa adaptation, we are focused on climate-related hazards. climate-related hazards. This includes what? Droughts, floods, and cyclones. It also includes changing conditions such as changes in temperature over time or shifts in the timing of the rainy season. Okay po. So yung ginagawa ng adaptation, nag-a-adapt tayo dito. Ano po, ina-adapt natin yung pagbabago mismo dun sa climate-related hazards. Like si drought, si flood, cyclones, yung ginagawa natin dun is adaptation. Yun yung pinagkaiba ng DRR and adaptation. Now, isipin nyo mabuti, what kind of hazards affect the communities you work with? Ano ba yung mga hazards na yun? Okay? Are they climate-related? Yun yung pag-iisipan natin. Ano po? Climate-related ba yung mga hazards na pwedeng maka-apekto sa communities kung saan kayo mismo nagtatrabaho? So, para mas maintindihan natin yung adaptation, there are related terminologies na kailangan nating mas maintindihan. Unahin po natin yung tinatawag nating vulnerability. Ito pala, I know na palagi nyo na po itong naririnig Lagi nyo na po itong naririnig kung saan-saan. So let's look at the very important concept of vulnerability. So vulnerability can be defined simply as the propensity or predisposition to be adversely affected. So DRR is focused on reducing vulnerability to disasters. Bakit? Kasi pag sinabi nating vulnerable ka, parang mahina ka, tama? Parang ganon. So parang hindi mo kaya. So the degree of vulnerability determines the extent of negative effects a hazard event has on a community, an asset, or an ecosystem. So in the DRR perspective, vulnerability is considered in terms of the human, social, financial, natural, and political factors that may increase the potential of negative effects caused by hazard events. So yung vulnerability, tumutukoy siya sa parang kakayahan ng tao na mag-adapt on the situation, mapa-social, mapa-financial, natural hazards, or political factors. Now, kung mataas yung level of vulnerability ng tao or ng property, mas mataas yung magiging epekto ng hazard dun sa taong yun or dun sa property na yun. Papo natin? So that is what we call vulnerability. Kaya, ang gagawin is dapat yung human beings or the persons itself should adapt para ma-less natin yung vulnerability. Mabawasan natin yung vulnerability natin sa lahat ng uri ng hazards na pwedeng ma-encounter natin mismo. So, adaptation also focuses on reducing vulnerability. So, the approach is concerned now to climate change. Adaptation focuses on reducing vulnerability to climate change. So from the perspective, vulnerability is determined by what? The degree of exposure to climate change impacts. Exposure. Gaano ka-expose? Gaano ka kalapit? Gaano ka the frequency? Kung paulit-ulit ba siyang nangyayari or every time lagi kang exposed dun sa climate change impacts na yun. Sensitivity to those impacts. When we're talking about sensitivity, gaano ka ba naaapektuhan sa impacts ng mga climate change related hazards? Then, capacity. To take advantage of any opportunities presented and to manage the negative impacts, this is called adaptive capacity. So from the adaptation, the word to adapt, and now we add more word capacity, kapasidad ng tao, that is adaptive capacity, paano mamamanage ng tao? Ano yung kakayahan? Kung yung vulnerability is parang walang kakayahan, parang mahina siya, yung capacity naman is dinadagdagan natin siya ng kapasidad or kakayahan para ma-manage niya yung pwedeng maging opportunities na yon because of the negative impacts of the hazard. So, this is not the real thing na kailangan nating mas maintindihan. So, yung vulnerability pala is pwede siyang maalis kung magkakaroon ang tao ng tinatawag nating adaptive capacity. So, what's the meaning of capacity? So, the one way to reduce vulnerability is by increasing your capacity. Your capacity refers to what? The combination of all the strengths, attributes, resources available within a community, organization, or society that can be used to achieve agreed goals. So, kung mas mataas ang capacity, mababa yung vulnerability ng tao. Okay po? So, like vulnerability, capacity has a range of different dimensions. Kung babalikan natin yung vulnerability, di ba yung vulnerability may mga dimensions rin siya. Human, social, financial, natural, and political elements. These are the same thing also with capacity. So a significant element to climate change adaptation is focused on increasing adaptive capacity. Ito yung pwedeng gawin. Ano po? Pwedeng gawin. Which can be understood simply that is the ability to adjust to climate change. Adapt. Adjust. So, those are things. Adaptive capacity also has a human, social, financial, natural, and political dimensions. So the higher people's adaptive capacity, the more able they are to manage the negative impacts of climate change. This implies an ability to manage uncertainty. So ito yung ginagawa natin ngayon. Ano po? May webinar tayo, hindi lang po ito para sa CERTs or CPD units, but we want to broaden our knowledge. Kasi di ba, the mantra of DRR is, ligtas ang may alam. Kapag mas marami tayong alam natin kung paano natin gagawin, alam natin kung paano natin susolusyonan, and kung paano tayo mag-a-adapt doon. So the more capacity means, less vulnerable yung tao. Okay po? Kaya dapat i-increase natin yung capacity natin para mabawasan yung vulnerability natin. So, hindi lang po yan ha. Hindi lang yan yung mga terminologies na meron pa tayo. So, nauna na natin is the vulnerability. We already discussed the adaptation, the capacity. And the next thing is resilience. Yan. Filipinos are resilient. Kasi daw, yung mga Filipinos kahit napakalaki ng epekto ng bagyo, kinaumagahan nakangiti pa rin yan. Kasi parang sanay na tayo. Kami dito sa Bicol region, since that we are always one of the favorite path of the typhoon, di ba? Lagi kami dinadaanan dito ng bagyo. Parang, kumbaga, expected na namin yan na pag may bagyo, ganito lang yung kailangan natin gawin. We have capacities. Okay? Lahat na yan ready. Yung hindi lang namin napaghandaan is yung Tropical Storm Christine, ano po, yung napakataas ng millimeter ng ulan for 3 days na talagang binaha yung buong Kamsur. So, napakaraming naapektuhan. Ano po? Napakaraming naapektuhan. So, since iniisip ng mga tao na, tropical storm lang to, mahina pa to, hindi to, ano yan, hindi tayo maaapektuhan nito. So, parang naging complacent yung mga Bicolanos because of that. Complacent. Yun pala, mahina talaga yung bagyo. Ulan lang yung dinala niya, pero sobrang daming ulan naman yung ibinuhos niya. So, resiliency. This is another important concept in both DRR and adaptation. So, in the context of climate change and disasters, resilience refers to the ability of a household, community, or society to cope with the effects of a hazard. Yung capacity, dimensions. Ito naman, ability of a household na. Kung paano siya mag-cope with the effects of a hazard. If a household is resilient, it means it can recover from the effects of a hazard in a timely and efficient way. So this could mean a recovery in terms of health, quality of life, finances. Diba? Kasi kung, halimbawa, okay naman yung pamumuhay natin, may sapat naman na tayong kinikita. So kung halimbawa magkaroon tayo, may pumasok na malakas na bagyo, ang nangyayari is, parang hindi tayo nababahala. Na, okay, sige, ganyan, kasi meron kang pang support sa'yo. That is what we call resiliency. Effects of a hazard in a timely and efficient way. We can easily recover from the effects of hazard. So the concept of resilience implies that the household can return to the state it was in before the hazard event occurred. However, the concept is increasingly understood to have a greater scope to promote the idea of bouncing back better. Yan. Let's bounce back. Kasi most of the population in the Philippines talaga, averagely is nasa laylayan. Kaya pa nagkakaroon tayo ng disaster, sila yung mas naaapektuhan. Tayo naman, na nasa average na pamumuhay, meron tayong konting tinatawag na resiliency. Kasi we can easily cope up kahit papano, nakaka-recover tayo kaagad. Compare doon sa mga Filipinos na nasa laylayan mismo na inaabot ng buwan, taon bago sila maka-recover after a disaster. So, let's relate now resiliency to the idea of bouncing back better. Okay po. Bouncing back better. So, this is now the time that resiliency will takes place. This is very important. We Filipinos are resilient. Kahit saan tayo dalhin, kahit sa anong panahon pa naman yan, palaging resilient ang mga Filipinos. Sanay na tayo dyan eh. Sanay na tayo. Kung baga sa, ano yan, immune na kita. Ano po, immune na tayo sa different hazards na meron dito sa Pilipinas. So, we have already discussed adaptive capacity. Is this the same thing as resilience? So resilience and adaptive capacity are similar concepts, and they are sometimes used interchangeably. So resilience is about coping. Ano po, tandaan lang po natin yung word na coping. Yun yung tinatawag nating resilience, coping with the effects of hazards. It is about bouncing back, ideally in a way that enhances the ability to manage the future hazards. Pag sinabi naman nating adaptive capacity, this is about adapting or managing the effects of the hazard. Adaptation implies not just bouncing back, but managing uncertain and dynamic hazards in a way that allows improvement in well-being over time. Okay? So, yung keyword lang natin dito po resilience, coping, bouncing back. Pag adaptive capacity, adapting, from the word adapting. Another term is managing the effects of the hazard. So we can think of this as a kind of a continuum from vulnerability. Kung titingnan natin itong illustration natin, vulnerability, yan. Yung resilience, nandyan na, and adaptive capacity. So these three are interconnected. So kapag yung tao, mataas yung vulnerability niya, mababa yung adaptive capacity niya. And also with the resiliency. Pero kung mataas yung adaptive capacity niya, mataas rin yung resiliency niya. Ano po? Diyan sila nagkaroon ng connections with this. So, kailangan mas pataasin natin yung adaptive capacity natin so that the resiliency. Para ma-neglect natin yung vulnerability natin. Kasi yung epekto ng climate change naman po is kaya natin siyang i-manage. Ang kailangan lang natin is mag-adapt tayo mismo po doon. Ano man yung hazards, ano man yung present dito with the community, we need to increase our adaptive capacity so that with our resiliency. Para yung vulnerability is hindi siya na-activate kaagad. Pero kapag yung tao or yung community is vulnerable, napupunta tayo dun sa mas mataas na epekto ng hazards. Which is, kasi yung community is walang kakayahan na i-manage or i-cope up yung effect ng hazards doon mismo sa kanila. Okay po? So do you have any questions po? As of the moment, may tanong po ba tayo? Nakakasunod pa po ba tayo? Okay, I think nakakasunod naman ang lahat.
Hello po, sir. Excuse me po. Sir, ano ka po,
Yes po.
naka-presenter's view ka po. Dapat po full screen yung PowerPoint mo po.
Sorry. Hindi ko napansin. Okay, wait lang po, aayusin natin. Kaya pala. Wait lang po Okay. Okay na po. Nakikita na po ba ulit?
Okay na po, sir.
Okay po. Sorry kanina. Okay. So do you have any questions po as of the moment? Yeah.
None so far po.
Okay. So I think okay. Okay po. Thank you so much. So I think na nakakasunod tayo lahat. Now, so let's now review. Ano po? Let's now review all of the things na pinag-usapan natin. So I have 2 questions here only. Let's see if you really understand the difference between the climate change adaptations and the DRR concepts. And the rest of the hours, I think maybe, pwede nating gawin with your activity. Ano po? So let's proceed with the knowledge review. Okay. So let's review the key learning points for this module or session. So climate change makes disaster risk reduction even more important. Lagi po natin tatandaan yun. Ano po? So because of climate change, mas importante yung disaster risk reduction ngayon. We all know that. We all know the effects. Alam natin kung paano tayo naaapektuhan ng climate change na to. So kailangan nating i-mainstream, kailangan nating pag-aralan kung paano natin marireduce yung effect nito mismo. So with the exceptions of geophysical hazards, climate change affects all types of natural hazards. Only the geophysical ang hindi naapektuhan ng climate change. So vulnerability to climate change and disasters depends on the exposures to hazards. Okay po? This is determined by human, social, physical, natural, and political and financial factors. Then, it varies within communities and even within households. So the more capacity means less vulnerability. Ito lang yung mga key learning points na kailangan nating tandaan. Okay po? So now, ready to review your knowledge. I have 2 questions here and I need 2 volunteers to answer the question. Okay po ba yon, my dear participants? 2 questions lang naman po ito. You can, pa-help na lang po ako, Ma'am Madel. Ano po? Okay? So for the knowledge review, question number 1, are adaptation and disaster risk reduction the same thing? Anyone? Any volunteer? Sino po yung gustong sumagot? You can raise your hand po. Okay. According to Ma'am Ana Marvey, no po. Not sure. So are adaptation and disaster risk reduction the same thing? Ano po? So let's see po with your answers, Ma'am Ana. So let's check. Okay po. Sige po, check natin. No, second box down. Naridon. Okay. So, you're right. Ano po, tama po kayo. No, they are similar, but there are important differences. Ano po? So, while there are a lot of synergies between adaptation and disaster risk reduction, they are not the same thing. One key difference is the types of hazards they deal with. Okay, very good. Ang galing. Ano po? Then, Next. True or false? Exposure to hazards is the main determinant of vulnerability to climate change and disasters. What's your answer po? Is it true or false? True. According to Sir Christian, true. According to Ma'am Ninita, Pagay, true. Okay, so let's check po ha. Okay, majority true. Okay. Exposure to hazard is the main determinant of vulnerability to climate change and disaster. Sorry. So exposure is one important determinant lang, ano po, of vulnerability to climate change and disaster, but it is not the main determinant. Okay po. So human, social, physical, natural, political, and financial factors are also very important in determining vulnerability. So the correct answer po then is false. Okay? False po siya. Now, so before my end my session po for this morning, I want you to read this quotation by the Disaster Resilience in the Philippines. So we cannot stop natural disasters, but we can arm ourselves with knowledge. So this is what we call adaptive capacity. So many lives wouldn't have to be lost if there were enough disaster preparedness. Ano po, alam naman natin yan. Lagi nating sinasabi with the mantra of the DRRM that ligtas ang may alam. All of the things can be managed if we are always prepared. Ano po? So, in the context of DRR, lagi pong mas mataas yung adaptive capacity natin, mas tataas po yung resiliency natin, and maiiwasan natin yung mataas na epekto ng disaster na pwedeng makaapekto sa atin, sa pamilya natin, or sa workplace natin. Okay po? So with this is my references po for my slide. Ano po? Then, if you want a copy of the slide po, i-share na lang po sa inyo. Ano po? Then, with this, ano po, with your activity, ipapasan ko na lang po sa inyo yung school DRRM plan natin, yung i-accomplish natin para po i-submit nyo po and para ma-checkan natin. Okay po? So, if you have any questions, clarifications, or any reactions po, you can chat here in our chat box. So, kung wala po, thank you so much for listening.
Once again, please give a resounding virtual applause to our resource speaker this morning. Thank you so much po, sir, sa ating mga participants. If you have question, feel free to ask po kayo, sir. Sir Albert, may question po dito sa ating chat box. Galing po
Okay po, sige po, Mama Del.
Galing po kay Sir Ryan Aragon. According po dito, how we can increase or improve the adaptive capacity of some areas in the Philippines which lack technical, technological, and manpower resources in order to increase their resiliency to disasters po, sir.
Okay, napakagandang tanong. Thank you for that, Sir Ryan. Ano po? So, the main thing na kailangan nating unahin muna is, syempre, we need to, first step, we need to select proper leaders in the community, specifically in this kind of areas, kung saan na may mga kulang ng mga technical assistance, technological, and any manpower. Kasi yung umiikot po yung sistema ng ating DRRM plan, mismo doon kung sino yung mga leaders na nakaupo po doon mismo. So, hindi naman pwede tayong tumulong, pwede tayong magbigay ng technical assistance, but the main thing kung paano natin ito mas mapapataas is kung magkakaroon tayo ng mga proper leaders na mas may kakayahan, mas may tawag dito, mas may pangangalaga, and gusto talagang ma-lessen yung impact ng disasters. Kasi po, di ba, kung mapapansin natin, napakaraming issues sa Pilipinas, specifically the flood control projects. Kung titingnan natin, na dapat yung flood control projects na makakatulong and mabawasan yung impact ng disasters, ang nangyayari tuloy is, siya pa yung nagkukos ng mataas na epekto ng disaster sa atin. So, kung gusto natin na mas mapataas yung technical assistance natin, technological and manpower resources, para tumaas yung resiliency, kailangan natin, syempre unang-una, gumawa tayo ng magandang plano, i-implement natin, i-evaluate natin gaano ba ka-effective yung plan na yon para makita natin kung ano pa yung mga pwedeng i-improve. Kasi po, una yung gumawa ako po ng school DRM plan sa school namin, una hindi masyadong pinapansin ng mga co-teachers ko, ng mga colleagues ko, kasi hindi daw sila related with the DRR. But if nagkaroon ng mga instances, mga instances na kailangan ng ganong sistema, mas na-appreciate nila na ganito pala. Kailangan pala nating i-increase yung resiliency natin. Hindi lang pala dapat yung teacher dapat nagtuturo lang. Dapat marami rin silang alam pagdating with the DRR concepts. So yun po, ang sagot ko dun, Sir Ryan. So, ang pinakakailangan natin talaga is, step 1, we need to select proper leaders na may pagkukusa and may pangangalaga sa lipunan natin. Okay po? Do you have any questions and concerns pa?
Okay, may another question pa po si Sir Ryan, sir, dito sa ating chat box. How have the inputs from International Climate
po.
Conference and agreements such as the COP26 and the Rio Summit improved the disaster risk reduction management of severely affected countries, especially in Asia?
Ay, sobrang ganda, ng mga inputs na yon kasi we are guided po with specifically the SDGs or the Sustainable Development Goals and the International Climate Conferences. Nagkaroon tayo ng agreement dito which talks about how the Hyogo framework or the HFA and the Kyoto Protocol will agree about this lessening the carbon emissions in the atmosphere. So yung kinagandahan nito is mas nagkaroon tayo ng systematic planning on how to combat climate change and nag-agree yung mga bansa na kailangan sumunod sila dito. So these protocols and agreement help a lot and improve the disaster risk reduction management, lalong-lalo na dito sa mga bansang nasa Asia. Yes po. Tama yan, Sir Christian. We should also demand accountability from our leaders as well. Okay po? So how can we engage all teachers in the promotion of CCA and DRR in schools? Ito po, yan, magandang tanong yan. So we need to orient them properly about the CCA, the Climate Change Adaptations in DRR. Kasi hindi naman natin kailangan magbigay ng napakaraming halimbawa kasi sila mismo is na-experience na nila. So, in the CCA, Climate Change Adaptation, there are a lot of programs po. Kung gumagawa kayo di sa mga schools, there are a lot of programs po involving the climate change adaptations. Minsan nga, there are months na sineselebrate natin yon. And gumagawa tayo ng mga activities. Aside from that is, ini-integrate na natin siya sa mga lessons natin, particularly in the science subjects, TLA subjects, and any other subjects na pwedeng ituro natin na pwedeng i-integrate yung CCA. Much better po. And then the DRR concepts, nami-mainstream na to sa mga schools. Kasi lahat ng mga schools na ngayon ay mga assigned na school DRR coordinator, wherein ang isa sa pinakamagandang ginagawa dito is, like for example, the conducting of the INSED quarterly and reports. Yung isa sa pinakamaganda pang ginagawa with the integration of the DRR yung the BERT rollout. If meron na po dito sa mga schools na nakapag-roll out na nito yung Batang Empowered Resilience Team, na kung saan binibigyan ng chances yung mga bata na matuto sila ng iba't ibang aspeto na related sa DRR. Like for example, basic life support training, um, understanding the basic concepts of disaster and disaster risk. So napakaganda po. Ano po? We can invite all our teachers, gawa tayo ng school DRRM planning, involve natin sila. Then kapag medyo hindi gamay ng mga teachers or hindi gamay ng mga colleagues natin, pwede natin silang bigyan ng technical assistance. We can request assistance from the MDRRMO or any non-government organizations na very active as a DRR practitioners. So, napaka-active na po ng DRR sa lahat ng mga schools ngayon. Okay po. So, with regards naman po with the proactive response and responsive, kasi properly, it depends po kasi in the implementation. Ano po? It depends upon the implementation, Sir Ryan, if kung ano yung magiging sistema. Pero possible, kung ako yung ano po, kung for me, mas kino-consider ko yung top-down approach. Ano po? Kasi systematic, then mas madali siyang i-evaluate compare with the bottom-up approach.
Okay, sino pa po yung may question sa ating mga participants? Mas maganda pong mag-ask po kayo ng
Very
question.
active ang mga participants natin.
May another question pa po, sir, galing po kay Ma'am Joanne. How might integrating climate change adaptation and
Yes po.
disaster risk reduction in learning environment foster more resilient communities?
Isa magandang tanong yan. Ano po? So, syempre, if all part of the communities know about the climate change adaptation and the DRR concepts, mas tumataas yung resiliency ng communities. It is because we are practically applying the systematic DRM plan. So they know what to do before, during, and after a disaster. So ang kinagandahan pa is they can practically apply it into their own, into their own, lalong-lalo na sa sarili nilang pamilya. And at the same time is they are now making themselves tawag dito, proactive pagdating sa resiliency ng communities nila. So napakaganda po ng climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction, lalong-lalo kung mabibigyan natin to ng pansin and mas ma-enhance po natin yung ating planning, mas maganda po yung implementation natin nito within and towards with our environment. Since nakapag-alam nila na ganito pala yung nagiging epekto kapag too much naman yung industrialization ng bansa, ganito pala yung epekto nito sa environment. So, sila na mismo yung magkukusa na ganito, instead of punta tayo ng malapit ng lugar, hindi na tayo mag-car, mag-bike na lang tayo, and so on and so forth, di ba po? Yun mga practical applications natin sa buhay since we all know the concept of the climate change adaptation. And aside from that, they really experiencing it right now. Di ba alam naman natin, and tayo na mismo yung nag-a-adapt sa sistema na yun. Yan po. Yes po, ano yan? Yes po, Sir De La Vega. Tama po yan. Ano po? Preparing the entire community is an effective approach in disaster risk reduction response. Okay. Typically po, there are no module or standard references. Sir Christian? Kumbaga, yung dapat piliin lang natin is yung anchored with the UNISDR, yan. Doon natin makikita yung iba't ibang concepts about climate change adaptations. So particularly, wala namang standards pagdating po dyan. So anything, halos the same lang naman po yung mga pinagkukunan ng inputs. Search mo lang climate change adaptation, makapapansin mo po yung mga references, the same lang kung saan sila galing. Iisa lang po yung pinanggalingan. Yes po, tama. Information dissemination is the key kasi ligtas ang may alam. Yan talaga po yung mantra ng DRR. Ligtas ang may alam. Napakarami pong best practices ang Asian countries. Ano po, like for example, Japan, sobrang advanced ng technology nila pagdating sa disaster adaptation. Yung preparation po nila, mitigation responses, sobrang bilis. Nung ano nga nagkaroon sa kanila ng disaster, I think, within the span of 3 days, naayos po nila agad kasi napakataas ng ekonomiya nila. And one of the key factor kung bakit ang bilis ng mitigation responses nila, it is because Japanese people are very disciplined. Yun, ang wala sa ating mga Pilipino. Ano, sa kanila, pag sinabing evacuate, evacuate. Dito sa atin, hindi. Iisipin muna yung mga alaga, magpapapilit pa, ganun. So, they're very disciplined. Kaya mabilis po yung disaster preparedness and mitigation responses nila. Yun yung ano sa atin, yun yung napakahirap dito sa atin sa bansa natin. Hindi tayo mga disiplinado. Ano po? Yan, ano po? Yung vulnerability sectors kasi ng ating ano yan, sa ating mga schools, ano po, tawag dito, hindi lahat ng mga schools kasi ano yan, nabibigyan ng magandang opportunity pagdating sa infrastructures, ano po, and also the training. So, ang ginagawa is, tawag dito, humihingi ng mga assistance from the local government unit to the barangay council or pwedeng any in the other non-government organization. Kasi, minsan talaga yung isa sa pinaka-problema natin sa mga schools natin is yung lack of fund. Aside from lack of fund, yung facilities natin, yung infrastructures natin, hindi okay. So, mas nagiging prone tayo with the vulnerability. Kaya, ang kailangan natin gawin is makipag-coordinate tayo, let's make linkages. Kung pwedeng maka-request tayo ng mga ganito sa mga ating, sa ating local government unit, much better po, para matanggal natin yung vulnerability ng ating school. Yes po, napakaraming programs ang DRR, lalong-lalo na sa DepEd. Una dyan yung birth rollout. Then, we are conducting also now the MHSPSS, ano po, yung mental health campaigns, yan. And then, binibigyan na rin ng lectures or orientations yung mga teachers and students about psychological first aiding. Then, in the subject of DRR, there are always practical applications towards directly to the community. Like for me, ang ginagawa ko is minsan pinapapresent ko sila ng kanilang DRM plan to the community kasi minsan like the hazard risk assessment, vulnerability assessment. Sometimes I assign my students on the community. Then pag nagre-request ako ng sa barangay council namin kung pwede sila makapag-present during their session. So, napakarami na pong programs that promotes DRR. Then, syempre, yung mga non-government organizations natin, nandyan po yan. Katulong natin yan. Yes, grabe po talaga yung natin. Grabe yung limited. Limited. Yes po, culture is a big factor in influencing how people respond. Kaya, pagdating dito sa Pilipinas, napakarami ang nagiging naapektuhan. It is because, sabi ko nga kanina, aside from yung culture, yung discipline talaga yung wala sa atin. Sa iba. Sa iba. Kasi po, I always believe that if Filipinos are educated properly, mas madali nilang maiintindihan yung sistema. Pero since that most of the, kumbaga nandun sa laylayan natin, na most affected by the disasters, they are not educated properly. So kaya nahihirapan sila mag-cope up with the scenarios. And lalong-lalo na pagdating sa DRR aspects. Pagdating naman po sa diverse educational settings, isa pa to, So one of the factor that affects the implementation of this is the culture nga. Ano po? The culture. Then, yung pagiging ano yan, tawag dito, pagiging close-minded ng mga tao. In the educational settings kasi, since that our learners are diverse, may mga instances na minsan they are not interested to participate on this drills. Sometimes hindi nila pinaniniwalaan, ganun. But the most important thing na kailangan nating ipaintindi sa kanila is hindi natin predicted yung disaster. So much better to encourage them to participate. Bigyan natin sila ng mas mataas na enlightenment on the importance of DRR, then everything will follow surely. Yes. Ano po? Yes po, sir. Ano yan, Sir Jesus. Talagang number one problem ng DRR sa school, yung funds talaga sobra. Kaya nga ako kahit ako yung DRR coordinator ng school namin, talagang every time, pag may gusto akong, like for example, gusto ko magpa-seminar sa DRR sa mga estudyante ko, napunta po talaga ako ng LGU namin. Na-request ako sa kanila. Then, nasabi na ako na, sir, ma'am, wala po kaming pambigay ng ganito, ganyan. So, yun na lang. Ginagawa na lang po ng paraan para at least mabigyan natin ng kaalaman yung mga estudyante natin. Yes po, kahit gaano talaga ka-excellent yung DRR plans, kung walang suporta, pondo, wala rin po yan talaga. Kaya, kumbaga, na-neglect yung importance ng DRR. Mas, kasi, parang tawag dito, pag wala pang nangyayari, okay lang. Pero pag may nangyari, saka lang sila gumagalaw. Ganon. So, hinihintay pa nila na dapat may may casualty muna, yan, ganyan. Saka sa kanila gagalawin yung baso bago nila i-implement. Okay po? Ano mo? Dep and always lacks of fund. Isa pa po dito yung sistema. Ano yung sistema natin? Lalo pagdating sa procurement, yan. Even though po sa lahat ng school DRR coordinators po natin dito, FYI lang, meron po tayong 5% allocation ng ating school MOOE sa DRR. So, pwede po natin, 5% ng total MOOE natin. Halimbawa, you have 1M. So, 5% ng 1M is for DRR. So, pwede tayong mag-purchase ng mga PPEs or important things na related sa DRR natin. Pwede tayong magpa-print ng mga IEC materials or posters na related sa DRR. Kasi po, doon po yun. Pasok po yun doon sa 5% natin na fund doon mismo sa MOOE. Yan, Tapos, pagdating sa procurement, yan na nga po yung problema natin. Yan, isa dyan. Yung pababaan ng presyo. Kaya pagdating dun sa school, nangyayari? Isang gamitan lang, sira na agad. Yun yan, yung problema natin. So, napakarami talaga pong factors. Yeah, mga low quality po. Tama, mga low quality. Okay po. So, do you have any concerns po or additional information pa? Or questions po? Okay na po siguro, Ma'am Adele. Okay na po siguro. Thank you so much po, everyone.
Okay, thank you so
Thank you
much
for
po
your
again,
active
once again,
participation.
Sir Albert. Sa tingin ko, wala naman po na silang mga question ang ating mga participants. Talaga naman pong magagamit namin. Kasi pati ako as a teacher, magagamit ko yung mga natutuhan ko po sa iyo, sir, na talaga naman yung plano talaga. Pero talaga ang dami pa rin mga kailangan, funds po talaga. Yan talaga yung isa sa mga reason kung bakit yung implementation ay nagiging hindi maganda yung kinakalabasan ng implementation dahil sa lack of funds. Okay. Wala na po talaga. Okay, ang galing po talaga. Di ba po, my dear participants, talaga namang napakagaling ni Sir Albert Laborte. Sabi dito ni Sir Christian, daghang salamat. Maraming salamat daw po, sir. Okay, wala na po talaga. At this moment po, we proceed na po to the awarding of certificate to our resource speaker. Okay, citation reads, Apotem Learning Center Professional Development for Teachers, DTI registration number 622-2512-1077-1-203-429-00000, CPD accreditation number PTR 2025735, Certificate of Recognition, this certified that Sir Alberto J. Laborte Jr., MSDRM, teacher for Mambolo Nuevo National High School, School Division Office of Camarines Sur, served as resource speaker in the training program Resilient Roots Integrating Climate Change Adaptation and Disaster Risk Reduction and Learning Environment held via Zoom on March 28 with 24 training hours recognized for continuous professional development under the pedagogy and leadership domain. This program has been approved by the Council for Professional Teachers of the Professional Regulation Commission or the PRC, accredited under number PTR 2025-735-12343 and awarded 10 CPD units. Signed, J.R.H. Leonidas, Executive Director, Apotem Learning Center. Again, let's give a resounding virtual applause to our resource speaker. Thank you so much po, sir. But before that, may I request po to all our participants to open your camera for our photo opportunity. Pa-open po ng camera ng ating mga participants. Ready po? And another reminder po again sa ating mga participants, please po mag-sign po kayo ng ating attendance. Nasad na rin po yun sa inyong onboarding manuals and of course yung evaluation sa ating resource speaker today. Okay, ready na po? Mag-print screen po tayo. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Again, 1, 2, 3, smile. Heart shape tayo ganito. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Opa. Okay, thank you so much po, sir. And also, don't forget to follow and share our official pages, our official social media pages. Our Facebook page is the Professional Development for Teachers. Yung ating YouTube channel is the Professional Development for Teacher. And of course, our Facebook page is the Apotem Learning Center. Okay, i-share po natin sa ating mga colleagues para mas marami pa pong makaalam ng ating pages para magkaroon din sila ng mga panibagong trainings. Kasi po, in the upcoming months po, marami pa pong training na gagawin itong Apotem Apotem Learning Center po na makakatulong sa ating professional growth. Okay, thank you so much po. Reminder po, balik po kayo mamayang 1 p.m. Another resource speaker naman po ang magdi-discuss sa atin. Thank you.